Hello, everybody. It is Sandy Hannum, and we are talking about limiting beliefs. And so, our limiting belief falls on all of us, and many times, a limiting belief is something we don't even realize that we have. It might be something that was said to you when you were young, it might be a belief that your family held, that something was said to you, that your family believed. We don't even know many times that we have these limiting beliefs. Now, yesterday we talked about our limiting beliefs and that we weren't worthy of success. And we spent some time kind of thinking about how to instill that positive belief that you're worthy of success. And today we're going to talk about that feeling that we have about what other people think about us. It is one of the most common limiting beliefs that you're going to have, that people have in general. It's one for sure I struggle with. You worry, I obsess over it. I worry about what other people are thinking. You worry that if you're too successful, people will think you're stuck up. If you worry you're not successful enough, people will look down on you. If you stand up for yourself, you worry that people will think you're too assertive. If you try to be a peacemaker, you worry that you're going to come across as a doormat. All of those things, right? I've thought them all. But worrying about what other people think about us can be really incredibly time consuming. And what I have found that it really does sap my energy, it saps my joy, and it kind of takes away that productivity. And I start to second guess myself. I start to think about, instead of just living in my own truth and knowing what I know, I start to second guess myself. So this limiting belief is that you feel like if you do certain actions, or others are going to think less of you. And so if this limiting belief isn't kept in check, it can really become almost an obsession for us. It can keep us from pursuing our dreams, and it really can cause us to constantly be afraid of what other people are thinking. And fear of what other people think about us can be like this huge weight on our neck that just drags us down. And it definitely will keep us from moving forward. So I really want us to think about kind of rewriting that limiting belief. But I also want us to think about, as we're going through these limiting beliefs, I want us to spend some time with curiosity to really think about, like, where am I thinking about, what am I thinking about doing? And Misty, yes, this has been on my mind so much about people pleasing and worrying about what other people think. And oftentimes people think like people aren't really thinking about us, right? They're worrying about what we're thinking about them. And so it's so important that we think about, like, where did these come from? But first we have to identify them, right? And we talked a couple sessions ago about the word because. If you say something and at the end of that sentence is a because, oftentimes whatever follows that word because is your limiting belief. And so really spend some time thinking about what your limiting belief is and where you discovered it. I had something happen to me like in third grade. A teacher said something to me. Didn't really uncover it until I was a freshman in college. And but you better believe it had been a limiting belief that had stopped my forward momentum. So the limiting belief we're talking about today is I worry about what others think about me. And we also know that, like I said, most people aren't really thinking about us. They're worried about themselves or what other people are thinking about them. So an empowering belief could be, what other people think of me doesn't really matter. What truly matters is what I think of myself. My opinion of myself is the one that counts. I'm secure in who I am. I use that one quite a bit. I avoid striving to make everybody happy. We're not going to make everybody happy, right? We can certainly work at not causing people sorrow, but we just can't make everybody happy. I'm reading the book, and I should have brought it into my office with me, but I'm reading the book about being a people pleaser. And I think oftentimes I worry about what other people think. It goes with if we have people-pleasing tendencies. So really the key for us to rewrite this limiting belief in our conscious and our subconscious is to realize, just like deep down, that what other people think of you doesn't really matter. In the long run, in the big picture, in the scheme of things, it doesn't matter if people are going to think more or less of you, because what really matters is your journey and how you're surrounding yourself with people that empower you. What truly matters is what we think about ourselves. We've said it before. You've heard me say it. You're worthy and you're valuable just by being who you are. Don't let the opinions of other people drag you down. They have no weight compared to what we think about ourselves, right? To have that integrity. So our new belief should be, what people think of me doesn't affect me one way or another. Easy to say, hard to do, but it is really something to work for and strive for if we really think about the impact that a person's opinion can have about us, right? You're free. We can free ourselves up, even if we can do it for just a little bit of time. If we can set down that judgment piece just for a little bit of time, and free yourself up to think about what other people think about you. You're secure in knowing that you're valuable, that you're worthy. And the big thing is that we don't have to strive to make everybody happy. Like I said, we don't want to cause anybody pain or sorrow, but it certainly isn't necessarily our job to make everybody happy. Hard concept. This is the hardest limiting belief for me to crush. And sometimes I do it really well, sometimes not so well, right? Then we go back and we start over. But some of the action steps that I've been taking is, it's so easy for us to play that negative conversation that we have about ourselves in our head. But then when we want to say something positive to ourselves, we get self-conscious. And I don't really know what that's about. But I really want you to replace that. When you start to get those negative, I physically tell myself, stop. I don't have to make everybody happy. My opinion of myself is what matters. That's what I've been saying to myself. Stop. That kind of resets your subconscious mind. My opinion of myself is all that matters. And then create a list. And I've been working on this too. Create a list that says, people I must please. Now, leave the list blank as a statement that you're done worrying about what other people think about you. You're done trying to please everybody. Again, easy to say, hard to do, but it is one of those, if we can get a handle on this one, we're going to be well on our way to creating some peace in our hearts. I've also been saying, and again, I've been reading this book about people pleasing, I refuse to play the people pleasing game. Again, I love people. I just love people. And so I'm never going to do anything to cause anybody harm, to cause anybody sorrow. But it's not my sole responsibility to try to make sure that everything's perfect for everybody that I meet. I affirm that the opinions of others fail to have any sway over me anymore. My opinion of myself is all that matters. And then I choose to believe the best about myself. I've been saying that to myself too. I choose to be the best about myself. And I choose to think the best of others, right? I avoid letting others' opinions drag me down and pull me off course. We all have our own course, our own purpose, and if we and the people that we run into on a day-to-day basis, they don't know that passion. They don't know that mission, right? And so only you know that. And so we can't let other people sway us kind of off that course because they don't understand. So thanks for joining me today. Really think about using some of those affirmations and treat yourself kindly. You act kindly toward others. Why not act kindly to yourself? And in the next session that I do, we're going to learn about how kindness can help you reach your goals faster and easier when you're kind to yourself. So have a wonderful night, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and take care.